Hi, I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. So, welcome to DurgaSoft. As this is our first demo, first let me introduce about myself. I'm Divya. I have about 8+ years of experience into data analytics. I completed my master's in data science and I have experience in teaching all the data science subjects like SQL, Tableau, Power BI, Python, statistics, and machine learning. So currently with DurgaSoft, I'm taking classes on MySQL and Tableau. Okay, so as we are here to learn MySQL. Of course, today is our first demo, and you may already know the duration of this course is 35 days starting from today. 35 sessions actually. Mostly I'll take classes from Monday to Friday. Okay, and this is the course content which we are going to cover in our course. So I'll show the concepts or the contents which we will cover in our entire course. But before that, as this is our first class, let me give the introduction of SQL. Okay. So, and before that, if anyone wants to talk about you wants to introduce about yourselves, you can just unmute yourself and you can speak. Like, are you fresher, or do you have some prior knowledge on SQL, like that? Or else you can type in chat box also.
Is this course related to developers or database also, DBS also?
Developers.
Oh, okay. Any courses for database administrators?
I mean, maybe another instructors we have in DurgaSoft, but I only take for developers, SQL developers.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Thank you.
not sure. You can just check DurgaSoft website. You can find there.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so let's start. As this is our first class, first I'll give some introduction about SQL and then I'll show you the user interface of MySQL today. Okay, so before understanding what is SQL and what is database, and before starting anything technically, let's try to talk about what is data, why data is so important in today's world, and what is the need of learning, SQL kind of thing. Let me talk about it a little bit. Then we will get into the concepts. Okay. So first of all, data. Why data became so important nowadays? Obviously, we all know that from many years, of course, we all have started generating lots of data, right? And maybe the reason behind that is, I can say, first reason might be digitalization, right? Especially maybe we can consider like maybe from the time of monetization, right? What we did before that, before monetization, we made payments normally only, but once monetization took place, we started doing digital payments, right? We started using phone pays, we started using paytms, like that. And especially when COVID came, right? When COVID was attacked, from that point of time, if we really think logically, before COVID, the data generation and the after COVID data generation has increased a lot, right? Because everyone, we started doing everything online, right? We are doing work from home, so we started doing even online shoppings, right? Digital payments, everything. Even today also we connected to learn something in online only, correct? So actually, by doing all these things, what is happening here in online, as I'm saying, we are doing all these things. Maybe we started you know seeing movies in OTT platforms, right? We started doing online shoppings. Basically, whatever things which we are doing in online today, even we are using so many social media applications, maybe YouTube, Instagram, right? With all these things, we are generating data only, correct? Obviously, whatever we do. For example, let me talk about Amazon. We all know about Amazon. If we place any order in online, if I just place any product in Amazon, if I order anything in Amazon, what will happen? Definitely the data will be generated, right? Like, what product I ordered, about that product details, maybe product name, product price, which is the seller of that product, and my details, that is customer details, maybe my name, my mobile number, my email ID, my address, right? All this is nothing but data. Today, especially SQL, and if I talk little bit about data science or data analytics, this is one of the domain which is it doesn't stick to one single domain, right? Data science is useful for all the domains. It can be it can be e-commerce websites, it can be medical field, it can be electrical field, it can be any kind of sales, right? Everywhere this particular domain is useful. Basically, what we will do in data science or data analytics, we will work with data only, right? We will analyze the data. See, the reason why I'm saying all these things in the sense, SQL or data is one such subject, nowadays in every domain, every company, whatever business they are doing, in everywhere, they are, whatever, you know, if we are talking about any sales data, if we are talking about any kind of thing, whatever business everyone is doing today, they are generating data only. And not only generating the data, they are storing the data and they are analyzing the data, so that by that, data analysis only, they are coming to some conclusions that, whether they are getting profits or losses, right? In which areas they are lagging, or in what kind of measures they need to take to increase their profits, like that, right? So today, now, every business is running because of this data only, and that is the reason learning SQL is important, right? You can choose any kind of job role in the entire IT industry. You can even choose data science, you can choose full stack development, cyber security, testing, whatnot. Every job role, SQL is a must to we should have the sound knowledge on SQL. We should learn SQL. That is considered as a basic subject, or a basic thing which we need to know, right? We all know about it. So I can say SQL is a backbone for complete IT industry, right? So this is the importance of data, I can say. Nowadays, wherever we go, definitely we need to have the knowledge on how we are basically how we are storing data, how we are retrieving the data. We need to have the complete knowledge on any kind of database. Okay. Now, yes, let's get into some technical terms. We have something called as database, right? What is database in a sense? The place where we will store the data, I can say. Inside database only. See, previously, if we talk about some generations of computer, we all know about this, right? Previously, maybe many years ago, everything was, if it is industrialization, at that point of time, everything was done using man-made, right? They used to store data in the form of files manually, correct? Like that. Afterwards, computers came into existence, and they started storing data in computers, maybe in the form of Excel file, maybe in the form of text file, like that. But later, later, yeah, after many years, now we are generating lots and lots of data. Obviously, if we are we all know that maybe whenever we are, some years ago, some 10 years ago, the data generation, the generating data, when we are comparing to the volume, now the generation is increased, right? Previously, this much data is not available. So at that time, using Excel files or text files is okay to store the data. But nowadays, so much of, see, if I talk only about Amazon, on daily basis, they will get so many what we call so many orders, right? So the data usage or data generation is increased a lot. So we cannot manage all that data by using Excel file and text file. That is where databases came into existence. Okay, database is something where we will store the data. Okay, and if I talk technical definition of database, I can say collection of data. Okay, where we can collect the data, where we can store the data. We all know that, right? And what is SQL? We all know about the full form of SQL, that is structured query language, of course, right? Structured query language. And definition of SQL. Before telling normally the definition of SQL, I would like to take a few minutes and I would like to explain clearly about what is database and what is SQL by showing you one example. Okay, maybe if anyone is from completely non-IT background, they will also understand or they will also relate the things easily. Okay, just give me a moment. Suppose just a second. Sorry guys, just a second. What happened to this? Okay, let me take paint. I don't know why it is not working right now. Okay, I'll try to explain here. Suppose yeah. So imagine this is one maybe school, okay, where I'm talking about some 10th class, okay, maybe A section. This is A, okay. So previously, when we are in our schoolings, maybe there are some kind of registers, right? They used to maintain some kind of registers in every class where maybe for attendance kind of thing, right? If you remember. So imagine in this particular class also they are maintaining one register in which they are storing all the student details, like maybe student name, okay, student ID or roll number, and maybe student marks or student attendance kind of thing. Okay, so in every class there is a register. One day what happened, the principal of that particular school wanted to analyze or wanted to see the students performance, and what he did, he called his peon. He called his peon and he said to his peon that go to 10th A class and bring the register. Okay, the peon understood and he went to the 10th A and he brought the register and gave back to the principal, and he started analyzing whatever he wanted to see. Okay, suppose the same scenario, instead of you know storing the data in this physical registers kind of thing, if imagine now this is a big university, something like our JNT university or something like that. Okay, if this is a big universities where they're having thousands of students, so storing thousands of data in a physical or a book is a little bit difficult task, right? Let's imagine they are storing the data in the form of databases. Okay, of course in between there are computers, they can even store the data in Excel files. In the next class or after our demo classes, I will explain you about the limitations or the problems which we will face by using Excel file. Okay, due to that problems or due to that limitations only databases came into existence. I'll explain that going forward. So now we will skip that Excel Excel kind of storing data in the form of Excel kind of thing, and directly we will see about storing data in the form of databases. Okay, because this is a big university where there are thousands and thousands of students, so they are maintaining the data, they are storing the data in the database. Okay, this is the database. Now in the previous scenario, however, principal wanted to analyze students data. What he did, he called the peon, he said to the peon, and peon brought the register to him, right? So whenever he are explaining or whenever he is talking to the peon, he might use some language, right? It can be English, it can be Hindi, Telugu, whatever it is. Definitely he should use some language, then only peon understand what principal wants, right? Likewise, if we are storing data in the database, definitely whenever principal wanted to analyze something, here also he should use some language to communicate with the database. That is nothing but SQL. However, principal spoke or however principal used English language to communicate with the peon that go and bring the register. Like that, whenever principal wanted to see the data from the database, he need to use the language called as SQL. This is the language which database will understand, and accordingly it will display the data. Am I clear? What is SQL and what is database? So basically, what is SQL? SQL is a language which is used to communicate with the database. Okay, this is the definition of SQL. SQL is nothing but it is a language which is used to communicate with the database. Whenever we wanted to see any data, whenever we wanted to communicate with the database, we need to use SQL as a language in between. In SQL, we will write something called as queries, by using which, SQL will understand exactly what we want. Okay, that is about database and SQL, and I hope I'm clear up to here, right? If you have any doubts, you can ask me, or else I'll continue. Let's keep this session interactive, guys. Please respond. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Thank you. So yeah, this is about basic understanding of what is SQL and what is database. Okay, now I'm saying that in this course I'll explain about, we will learn about MySQL. Then what is SQL and what is MySQL, right? This if you know about it, that is well and good, or else most of the students will think like this: what is the difference between SQL and what is MySQL kind of thing? It's nothing like it is nothing but SQL is, first of all, it is a language. Okay, it is a universal declared language. Okay, whatever concepts are there, that complete thing is a subject is SQL only. But to use the SQL, we have different tools in the market. We have different databases in the market, like Oracle SQL, MySQL, SQL Server, PostgreSQL. Like that, we have so many databases available in the market. Okay, basically MySQL and Oracle SQL are the products from Oracle company. SQL Server is the product from Microsoft company, like that. Okay, we have so many products, but in all these products, basically we will use SQL only. The concepts will be same, the subject will be same, we will call it as SQL. But something like, maybe the usage of phone will be same, but there are so many companies, right? If I'm talking about Android, OS will be Android only, but we have OnePlus phones, we have Samsung phones, like that, right? Here the language is SQL only, but we have so many different products to use it. Some companies may use MySQL, some companies may use SQL Server. But if you learn this if you learn MySQL, you can use the same in SQL Server also, you can use the same in Oracle also. The syntaxes will be same, the concepts will be same, everything will be same. Okay, if you learn one particular software or one particular database, you can apply it You can apply the same in all the databases. There is no difference. Of course, we have this, whatever examples I gave here, those all of SQL databases. Likewise, we have something called as NoSQL also. Okay, and example of NoSQL is MongoDB. This is different again. Okay, by learning SQL concepts, we can't use MongoDB. That is completely different. That is a NoSQL kind of thing. Okay, so if you are learning SQL, all the all the databases which comes under SQL, most of the databases nowadays are of SQL databases only. You can use anything with the same syntaxes. Okay, so the reason why I am explaining particularly MySQL here, in the sense it is an open source platform. Okay, it is an open source platform. That is, this is freely available. Okay, this is not a licensed version, it is freely available, and that is the reason mostly nowadays all the companies are using MySQL database only. Okay, whether it can be startup companies, whether it can be big MNCs, everyone are preferring to use MySQL, because we have some advanced settings in this, where the privacy of the data is little bit a better way we are having, and the second reason is it is an open source. Okay, like that. Just give me a second here. So whatever I spoke till now, I hope it is clear, right? With this, you got an idea about what is SQL, what is database, what is MySQL. Okay, and we have something called as RDBMS. Okay, that is a relational database management system. Okay, relational database management system, RDBMS. Basically, SQL follows RDBMS technique only. Okay, this is one kind of management system. SQL, that is all the databases which is under SQL will follow RDBMS only. What is RDBMS in the sense? First of all, before explaining that, let me explain you one more point here. So I said database is a place where we will store all the data, right? It's a collection of data, I said. So how we will store the data in the sense? First, we will create database. Inside the database, we will create tables. Okay. Inside tables, we will store the data. Okay. So we will basically store data in tables. And what is RDBMS in the sense? So definitely I'm saying that we are storing data inside tables, right? So if all the tables are related to each other, if all the tables are related to each other, then we will call it as it is following RDBMS technique. Relational database management system is nothing but all the tables we will have in one database. We can store the data in many tables, right? If there is a relationship between the tables, if our tables are related with each other, then that is following RDBMS technique. Okay, here no SQL won't follow RDBMS technique. It won't, it won't store. I mean, the tables won't be related to each other. That is the difference. I hope I'm clear.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. So yeah, this is about the basic understanding of what is SQL and what is database. Now let's directly start understanding. Let's see about the MySQL actually. Okay, let me show you the user interface of MySQL software. Just a second, let me close all these files. Actually, let me close completely. And I'll open once again. Once we are done with our demo classes, I will show you the installation process of MySQL. Okay, now I'm just opening it. Okay, once we install, you can able to see local instance like this, and we need to click on that, and then we will be redirected to this page. This is a basically user interface of MySQL Workbench. Okay, we need to download MySQL Workbench and MySQL Server, which I'll show you step by step process going forward. Okay, so now let's try to understand this user interface and let's try to create our first database today. Okay, so as we know, this is a menu bar, this is toolbar, right? And we have something called as schemas here, right? So this is schemas basically. This is not working. So below schemas, you can see something like this, right? This is nothing but my available databases. Okay, the databases list, whatever I'm having in my system, that is we can see here. By default, we will have only sys database. Okay, but once you started creating any particular databases, that list you can find here. In my system, I'm having this many databases. So basically below schemas, you can find the database list. Okay, and below we are having something called as information section here. Whenever we are selecting any tables, it will show the information about that table, like how many columns are present, like that. Okay, and to open a editor where we will write all the queries, we have two options. Either in the file menu, we need to click on new query tab, or else directly the first icon of toolbar. This is a shortcut. Okay, this one. I don't know why my pen is not working today. Maybe I'll figure it out, but I hope you can see here. You can understand the first icon, right? First icon of the toolbar. If I'm just clicking on this, I can able to open one SQL file here, right? And inside this file again, you can able to see some symbols here, right? The first symbol is that. Let me talk about second symbol. This is save button, as we can understand. After writing anything here in this file, after writing all the syntaxes, basically we can save this file. It will allow me to save the file in my system. Okay. After that, and whenever I wanted to open already saved file, I need to click on this first icon, that is folder icon. See, let me open any one file like this. Okay, this is use it to open already saved files. Second one is just use it to save the file, and the third icon is nothing but execute button. After writing any particular query, we need to execute the query to see the output, right? This is the execute button, this third icon. Okay, and remaining we will see going forward. Let me open one more new file by clicking on the first icon here. Okay, like this. I hope I'm clear. And at the bottom we can see this is an output section. After executing, we can able to see our outputs here. Okay, and let's see one sample table. Let me write it in Excel file first. Okay, so I said first we'll create database, right? Inside database we'll create tables. Inside tables we'll store the data. Suppose if I wanted to store any employees data, my table name will be employees, imagine. Okay, in which I am trying to store some data like employee ID, maybe employee name, salary. Okay, maybe date of joining. Okay, these are my column names. This will be my column names. 4 columns I'm having. Okay, first let me just give some data and then I'll explain you. I'll randomly enter some data here. Now, employees will be my table name. Okay, in this, basically all our tables will be consists of rows and columns. Okay, it is a collection of rows and columns. You might already know that, but let me explain. It is a collection of rows and columns. Okay, so in which vertical part is called as column. Okay, that is I'm having 4 columns here: employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining. Okay, in which I stored information here like this inside rows. This is first row of data. This is second row of data, like that. Basically, vertical thing is called as column. Horizontal thing is called as a row. Okay, in this I'm having 4 columns and 2 rows of data. Okay, like that. Right? So, yeah. Let me actually create our database. Okay. Okay. So let's create a database. Before that, let me tell you, SQL is case insensitive. Okay. That is, we can use uppercase or lowercase, no problem. This is case insensitive. Okay. And here we will have something called as comments. That is, in every programming language, we will have something called as comments. That is, if we don't want to execute anything, we can write it inside comments. For example, if you can see here, here I wrote SQL is case insensitive. But before that, I used some symbol, right? That is nothing but comments, because this is not my syntax. I don't want to execute that. So that is the reason I just mentioned it inside a comment. Okay. So whatever we don't want to execute, we can just keep it inside comments. Basically, in every programming language we'll have this. So in the same way, we'll have the same in SQL also. So we have two types of comments. One is single line comments. Okay. And the second one is multi-line comments. Okay. So single line comments, in the sense, the symbols which we will use here is this one. That is what I used, right? Or else we can even use hash. If I'm using hash also, it indicates single line comment only. Okay, like this. Multi-line comments, in the sense, we need to write like this. First hash, then star. Okay, afterwards I can write anything, multiple lines if I wanted to write anything as a comments. That is, multiple lines if I don't want to execute something like paragraph. If I want to write, then I will use multi-line comments. And this is the start of the comment, and this is the end. Okay, star and hash. Hash star. Towards the end, we need to use star and hash. In between, whatever we will write, that is non-executable. Okay, that is about comments. I hope I'm clear. Now let's see how we are going to create database. Okay, so here for everything we will have something called as syntax. We need to follow that syntax, in the sense, maybe some rules I can say. Okay, or else maybe something like, we need to follow for every concept. We will have some syntaxes, we need to use them. Okay, so for creating database, we will use a syntax, that is create database name. Okay, this is the syntax. Create database name. Let's see. I'll use create database. My database name is, maybe I'll use it as SQL demo. Okay, like this. After writing, I need to select everything and then I need to execute. Okay, this is an execute button, right? So I'm just clicking on it. You can see here in the output section, it got executed successfully. Okay, if we can see green color tick mark here, it indicates that it executed successfully. If we have any errors, it will show us a red color cross mark. Okay, which we can observe going forward. But basically here it got executed. So now SQL demo is a database which we created. So to see that particular database name in this list, what we need to do, we have refresh button here. We need to refresh. Okay, after refreshing, I can able to see here SQL demo, right? This is the database which we created. We can expand the database and we can observe we have 4 sections inside, that is tables, views, stored procedures, functions. Okay, all of this we will learn going forward. For now, we will concentrate on tables. Later, we'll explain about views and stored procedures as well. Okay, now this is how we will create a database. After creating the database, we need to activate the database. Okay, activating the database, in the sense, of course, in real time we will connect to one database only, but in learning process, we will have many databases like this, right? You can see here I'm having so many databases. So now I wanted to use SQL demo as my database. Okay, so whenever I decided to use any particular database, I need to activate that database, then only SQL will understand that I'm going to use this particular one. Okay, so by activating the database, we are just letting NoSQL that which particular database we are going to use. Okay. So currently you can see here, DurgaSoft is a database name which is in activation. Okay. You can see this in bold color, dark black color or bold characters, right? So if I forget activating this particular database, and if I execute any particular query, that query will be executed under this database only because this isn't currently activated, right? So we need to use this particular database. So we need to activate this. Okay. And to activate, we will use keyword. The syntax will be like use database name. Okay. Simple. Use database name. So let me write it as use SQL demo. Okay. I'm just selecting and executing. Now you can observe my SQL demo database it got activated, right? Like that. Whatever queries I'll write here, all that will be executed inside this database only now. Okay. This is how we will create the database and then we will activate the database. Now we need to create the table. Creating table. Okay. So to create the table, we will have one syntax again. That is create. This is one of the command. Okay. Basically create is a command. We have so many commands in SQL in which the next class will be about commands only. But here in this particular class, we will learn about 2 or 3 commands. In that, create is one command. Okay. Basically use it to create any database object. Okay. Any database object. Here database object in the sense it can be tables, it can be views, it can be stored procedures like that. To create all of them, we will basically use create command only. Okay, for now, let's concentrate on creating tables. Going forward, we will see these concepts. Okay, so create table syntax is create table, table name. Okay, after that, we need to use parentheses, that is brackets. And then inside, I need to define column names. Here, if you can see, I gave a table name as employees, and in that I used 4 columns, right? Employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining. Like that, how many columns I want, that many columns I can define within this brackets. Maybe column name 1. Okay. For every column name, we will define data type. What is data type? I'll explain you in a while. Okay. Next column name 2. And data type for that particular column name, like that, how many column names I want, that many column names I can give. Okay, like this. So maybe let's create a table, something like employees table only. Okay, in that maybe I'll first give employee ID as a column. Okay, next employee name, data types I'll just write in a while after explaining about data types. I'm just giving column names for now. Employee ID, employee name, salary, date of joining. Okay, like this. This is my column names, but for every column name we need to define data type, right? So first let's try to understand what is data type, how many data types are there, and then we will come back to this create table syntax. Okay, so what is data type basically? So let's get back to this Excel file. Here you can see I inserted some data, right? Suppose this is salary column, correct? We know salary will be in the form of numbers. Knowingly or unknowingly, suppose I entered something here, something like this. Okay, then it is accepting. Actually, it is not saying that this is salary column, you are supposed to enter numbers only. By mistakenly you entered something else, like that, it is not giving us any kind of errors, or it is not stopping us, or it is not warning us, right? Whatever we are trying to enter, it will just accept. Correct. This is one of the biggest drawback of Excel file. Okay, whenever we are trying to maintain some big data, large volumes of data, definitely we are humans, definitely there will be some kind of human errors. Knowingly or unknowingly we may enter some mistakes, right? But SQL is not giving us any warnings, it is accepting whatever it is, whatever we are entering, right? This is one of the drawback of Excel file, right? So to overcome this drawback, we have data types in SQL. Data types is something, let me write here. Data types in the sense which is used to define what kind of value we can store inside any column. Okay, what kind of values we can store inside any columns will be decided by data types only. Okay, accordingly, whatever data types we will define here, use it to define. It's not defined. Sorry, it is decide. Okay, data types is nothing but it is something which is used to decide what kind of values we can enter inside any columns. Okay, what kind of values we can enter will be completely dependent on the data types whatever we define here. Data types only will decide what particular value we can store inside any column. Let's see. Before that, here we are having some types of data types. Okay, so that is first one is numerical data type. Okay, and the second one is character or string data type. Third one is date time data type. Okay, actually let me show you one picture here, give me a second. See, numerical data types, character or string data type, date and time data type. Further, again it will divide into like this. Numerical data types, we have two types. One is int and the second one is float. Int in the sense it is used to store only numbers. Okay, but float in the sense it will store decimal values also, like 1.2, 2.4, like this. But in float, either we can store decimal values or else normal numbers also we can store. Okay, like that. Character or string data type again divides into two types, char and varchar. What is char, what is varchar, what is difference between them? In when we will use char and varchar, I'll explain in the tomorrow's class. Okay, uh, if time permits, I'll explain today only, but maximum in the next class. Okay, so next, date and time data type. We have two more data types here. That is, one is date data type and the second one is date time data type. Okay, if you want to store dates only, we will use this. Let me write it here. So first, numeric data types in the sense int and char. Okay, int allows only numbers, char allows numbers as well as decimal values as well. Okay, decimals. Likewise, character or string data type, we have two types. Okay, one is char and one is varchar, which we will see going forward. But one point, let me explain you here. Whenever we are defining character data type, we will define size also. Okay, we will define size also. This one also we will see in a while. Next, date time data type. Okay, this is again we have two types. One is date data type and the second one is date time data type. Okay, here we can store only dates and the format we need to use here is definitely year, then month, then date. This format only SQL will accept. If you are using any other format, it will throw error. Okay, and date time data type, along with date, if you want to store time, then you will use this particular data type, that is year, month, date, and then hour, minute, second, like this. Okay, if you wanted to store time also along with the date, then we will use date time data type. But this formats only it will accept. Okay, so as we saw again, apart from this, we will have one more data type, that is boolean. That is nothing but it will accept only two values, that is true and false. Okay, or else 1, 0 numbers also the same. Okay, 1 in the sense true, 0 in the sense false. Okay, that is boolean data type. Now let's get back to this create table syntax. Employees is my table name. Employee ID, definitely I'm going to store numbers, so I can define int here, right? Because int will store numbers. For name, employee name, I'll use char for now. Okay, and I'll explain what is char in tomorrow's class. But what I said, whenever we are defining character data, we will define size also, right? So how we are going to define size in the sense, after writing char or varchar, we need to use brackets, and within the brackets, we need to define the size like this. Suppose here I defined size as 10. That means here I'm allowed to enter up to 10 characters only in employee name because I defined size as 10, right? As I define size as 10, I can only enter up to 10 characters. That is, I can enter 2-letter word, 3-letter word, like that. Up to 10 characters I can enter. But if I'm trying to enter 11-letter or 12-letter word, it will throw me error. Okay. So basically, I'm allocating memory here for this particular, column, right? So next, salary, maybe I'll just define float, right? Because sometimes we will have decimal values also in salary, right? Date of joining, definitely I'm going to define date as a data type. Okay, like this we need to write. This is the syntax of creating table. Okay, so let me just select, let me execute. You can see it got executed successfully. Let's refresh. Then let me expand these tables. You can see I got this employees here. If once I selected here, you can see in the information section, you can find the column names and the data types as well, right? Like this. I hope I'm clear. This is how we are going to define the table. Next, let's see how we are going to insert the data. Basically, by using insert command, we will insert the data. But before understanding that, once let me show you the course content which we are going to cover in our course. Okay, first one is introduction to database and SQL, limitations of Excel, creation of database and tables, which we are seeing now. Next, once we are done with demo classes, I'll explain MySQL installation. Okay, data types in SQL. Okay, next we have SQL commands or sub languages. Basically, we'll have one concept called as sub languages, in which we have 5 types of sub language: DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, and DQL. In each sub language, again, we are having so many commands. Each and every command we will learn very practically. Okay. Next, we have integrity constraints. That means we have something called as, foreign key, primary key. Okay. So yeah, we have integrity constraints, something like foreign key, primary key, check constraint, and unique constraint, not null constraint, default constraint. All of them we will see along with examples. Okay, so this is a very basics of SQL. Whatever concepts up to integrity constraints, I'll use normal tables like employees table, students table, customer tables, like that. Okay, just to make you understand. Once we are done with very basics, then the speciality of my course is that I'm going to use one real-time database, that is real-time live, real-time database I'm going to use. That is nothing but movies database, which is also called as, OTT platform kind of database. Okay. By using this database only, we will learn going forward all the topics, because definitely once we started working in real time, uh, we need to deal with the real time data, where we will have some thousands and thousands of rows and so many columns, so many tables, right? If we are learning by using normal simple small tables, it will be difficult for us to deal with these big tables, right? So that is the reason in learning process itself, if we are started learning by using any live projects, any real-time projects, then that will be, it will be a kind of hands-on experience for us, right? So once we are done with these basic concepts, I'll give this particular database for you. I'll explain the database and I'll show you how to restore this database in your systems. And then we will start our main concepts. Next concept is something like operators and clauses. We have some operators and clauses in SQL. Okay, operators like and operator, or operator, not operator, range operator, that is between operator, membership operator, that is in operator. Okay, all these operators along with the clauses. Clauses in the sense where clause, order by clause, okay, distinct clause, limit clause, Like that, we are having some clauses. Yeah, each, for each and every concept, I'm going to, where we will solve some examples by using this real-time database. Everything we will learn practically only. And the next important operator is like operator. Basically, we will use this operator to search for the patterns of data. Okay, for pattern matching of the data, we will use like operator, which is very important. We'll have some wildcards in it. We will learn by solving some examples. Okay, next, functions concept. We have some functions like, numerical function, character function, date function, aggregate function. And each type, again, we are having so many, functions in it, right? In numerical, we have some functions. In character, we have some functions. Everything we will learn very practically. Okay. And next, most important concept, that is joins. I believe joins is the backbone of SQL, right? In real time also, mostly we will work on joins only. And we need to be in a position that whatever question or whatever query, whatever tables we have, we need to perform a perfectly joins. Okay. I'm assuring you that if you listen to my classes perfectly and if you practice little bit also, you will become pro in all the concepts and especially in joins. Okay, in interviews also nowadays, directly they are giving some tables and directly they are expecting us to, show the inner join, left join kind of outputs, right? So we have so many types of joins here, like inner join, left join, right join, outer join, self join, natural join, cross join. All joins we will learn very practically. And as this is the important concept, only for this particular concept, not only explaining some examples in class, I'll give some assignment questions also. Again, it's up to you. If you can able to solve, or if you can if you have some time, you can solve them. I'll give some time. After that, I will explain that questions, that explain that solutions in class, so that you can check whether you can able to solve them or not. Okay, only for joins concept I'll follow this process because this is important. Next, we have regular expression, one more important concept. It is used in all the domains. It can be data science, it can be, a full stack. Everywhere regular expressions will be used. Basically, again, it is used, regular expressions also used for pattern matching of data only. Okay, we have so many anchors here. We will learn each and everything by solving some examples. Okay, very practically we will learn. Next, we have some more clauses like group by clause, having clause. Basically, some clauses we will discuss here. Okay, where clause, order by clause, like that, limit clause. Okay, but to understand group by clause and having clause, we need to understand joins. That is the reason I kept these concepts here. Okay, we will see about group by clause, having clause, how we are going to use aggregation inside group by clause. Everything we will learn. Then subqueries. We have basically three types of subqueries, I can say. That is correlated subqueries, non-correlated subqueries. In that, again, we have single row subquery, multi-row subquery. Everything we will discuss detailing by examples. Each and every concept we will solve examples and we will learn very practically. And the most interesting concept here, which I included in our course, is normalizations, denormalization. Everywhere you can see in any other institute, maybe they will include the concept. If they are including, they will say only the theory part. But here, I'll take one real-time sales example, sales data, and I'll show how we are going to convert denormalized data into normalized form. Okay, basically we have three normal forms. By using these three normal forms, we will convert this. I'll show step-by-step process. Then ER diagrams, views, one more important concept, that is index, temporary tables. By using temporary tables only, we will delete duplicate data, which is very useful in real time. Next, CT is one more most advanced concept. Okay, full form of CT is nothing but common table expression. Okay, stored procedures. By using stored procedures, we'll have so many, we'll have some parameters in it, in parameter, out parameter, which is very helpful in real time. Okay, to actually store procedures will help us to, we can do our work fastly. We can finish our tasks fastly by using store procedures. We will learn about it. And the main important concept, window functions. Previously, I didn't included this concept in my course content, but nowadays this question is a definite, compulsorily they are asking in interviews, right? That is the reason upon my students request, I included this concept also in our concept, in our course content. We have basically 5 types of window functions, rank function, dense rank function, row number, lead and lag. We will discuss all the functions here. Okay, and at the end we will see interview questions as well. Important, most frequently asked interview questions we will discuss. So this is about our course content. Any doubts? Basically, as I said, my specialty is, we will use this real-time database, and along with that, while uploading notes, I don't believe in giving some theory kind of notes. Once we are done with each and every concept, I will upload this SQL files only. Here itself, I'll write all the, if you have any theory notes, I'll write, and here only, maybe if I'm solving any examples, right, like this, we will see, this is a question, and then this is a solution, right? Whatever we will discuss in the class, this notes only I'll upload for you, so that it will be easy for you to understand or practice, right? This is the files which I'll give you directly, and I'll show you how you can access that files in your system. Okay, this is about our course content, and as you know, the course duration is of 35 days. Okay, and the course fees is of 4,000 only. Okay, so if you have any doubts, you can ask me. As you attended our demo, tomorrow you will get an email from our admin team. There you can find the registration details, or else I shared in the chat also. You can just observe that. Okay. Obviously, tomorrow is also a demo class. Whatever is left over, we will learn some more concepts tomorrow. Okay. Actually, we have 1 more minute. Let me quickly try to show you, or else tomorrow only we'll continue how we are going to insert the data, then how we are going to display the data. After that, tomorrow I will explain you about SQL sublanguages. Okay, I'll start explaining this concept tomorrow. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Any doubts, any questions, anything to know? Anyone? If everything is good, I'll end the session for now. Let's meet in tomorrow's class. I hope whatever I explained today, that is clear, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. All right, guys, let's meet in tomorrow's class then. I'm going to end the session, okay? Mahesh, do you want to talk anything?
No, madam. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect.
So tomorrow also same timing, madam.
Yeah, same timings. Use the same link, okay? Tomorrow also demo only. I'll explain the remaining concepts tomorrow.
Okay, madam. Thank you, madam.
Perfect. Thank you. Bye.